Welcome to Group Dates and Hot Takes. I'm Sampy.
I'm Christy.
Let's talk about Married at First Sight. Christy, I am so excited. You know why I'm excited? I'm excited because we are finally past the weddings. We are, in my opinion, into the meat of the season. Would you agree with that assessment?
Yeah, I would say so.
There was so little that happened in the weddings that I found myself wishing that we could get to this, because we have 8 weeks with these people before decision day. So let's get to that stuff instead of a slow-mo of the walk down the aisle that ends up being way more time than necessary.
More time than it actually took to record.
Yes, absolutely. Where should we begin?
We can start with Stacia and Nate.
Oh boy. This is not a good... not a great episode for them necessarily, in my personal opinion.
Well, we start off with some surprising news that after that very intimate shower scene last week, they didn't have sex.
Allegedly didn't have sex.
I know, I have my doubts, but I'll take them at their word for the moment.
Oh man. Yes, because they do bring it up later again, so they're sticking to their guns. It appeared to the viewers that it was going there, but not. I think probably just more in their heads. It seems like everybody, to a degree, there's someone in each of the couples, at least someone, perhaps some buddies in each couple that is overthinking the sexual aspect of their marriages.
Yes, that happens every season, unfortunately.
It's understandable since they're strangers, but also a little weird how far some of them seem to go to completely avoid physical intimacy.
It just seems to me that if you're willing to do what they did in the shower last week, we're past the point of strangers.
Right, what happened there? How do you go to that point and then just be like, nah, I'm good?
Yeah, I don't know.
Very, very
it's
weird.
Puzzling.
But I'm sure they will get there. But how about this fun in the sun time that they had? I guess maybe they were shaded for part of it, but ATVing in Mexico. What do you think about that?
This didn't look like a lot of fun for her. Nate had a great time as he took selfies and videos.
This was red flag.
Yes, for
flag
sure.
On the play.
Like, why are you so concerned with taking videos for your Instagram page instead of paying attention to your wife who is lagging behind and struggling?
Not only that, because that would be bad enough, but what's worse, in my opinion, is before they even started to drive around, they just had sort of a mishmash of ATV trails that kind of crisscrossed and stuff. But the bigger thing to me was when they were getting ready, he straps into everything and just la-di-da goes off and sits on his ATV snapping pictures of himself and stuff. And she's over there struggling to put this gear on. She's putting these pieces and parts together, having a hard time. And he's just completely oblivious. Which, especially after she mentioned in an interview that I really just want to observe how he we interact and how he pays attention to me and observes and stuff. And he was just completely in his own little world the entire time. I mean, I don't think... So, they went out on the trails, drove around for a little bit. She was behind him for a little bit, and then he promptly, like, pulled off somewhere. He, like, got ahead, I think, and then pulled off because he needed to post something else to Instagram. And so she lost him. I don't think he noticed.
No.
At all.
No, he was very preoccupied.
At all until they got back, and he's like, oh, wait.
That's very strange.
That was so bad to me. That's the
it's
sort of
just
thing.
Selfish.
Yeah, so selfish. Just very, very much a bad look for beginning a marriage.
Yeah, to just disregard your wife on the first day of the honeymoon or second day of the honeymoon.
Right. He totally didn't take any of her feelings into account. Didn't even use his eyeballs to see anything about her and how she was struggling.
And then even afterwards, when they like sat down to talk and she brought up like his egregious actions, he just kind of brushed it off and he was like, oh, I was just multitasking.
Well, and look, you got to give him some time to transition from caring completely about himself and no other person.
Oh, dear. Well, he failed.
Yeah, that was also a concern to me, that how he then responded to her concerns about what had gone on with all the ATVing. I still continue to have a picture of him being someone who's perhaps a bit too full of himself and very inwardly focused and inward priorities. And let's be honest, that's not super helpful when you're going about a marriage. Because, spoiler alert, when you're in a relationship with two people, you gotta pay attention to the other person.
You do. I hope he learns from this.
Not so sure. I also was, I thought it was interesting, this is just continuing the thread, when they were in their little bungalow or room or whatever, filming themselves, and he seemed awfully worried that her taking a long time to get ready was going to be a thing.
He should know.
Did you hear that, everyone? The long, pronounced Christy sigh in response to this.
He knows she wears makeup and that black hair takes time to take care of. None of this should be a surprise.
Does he know she wears makeup? Is he one of those men?
No. He has to know. If it's taking her an hour and a half, what else is she doing?
Look, I don't pretend to know what women get up to when they get ready. Man, he seemed quite worried about that.
He needs to have better time management and don't start to get ready until a half hour before she is. Don't get ready an hour before she's ready and you'll just be sitting there twiddling your thumbs.
Oh, so you're viewing the hour and a half as just the reality for now.
That's how long she said it takes, so you need to plan your schedule accordingly.
Right, though to be fair to her, first of all, like, if that works for your life, great. But also, she did specifically mention that she doesn't do that all the time.
That's true. She said she's just running to the grocery store. It's like 15 minutes or something.
Right, which, I mean, these people are, like, they're about to go on this romantic dinner.
Yeah, they're also on TV.
And on TV.
So you gotta look presentable, I suppose.
I mean, I guess. sometimes
Stacia seems like the person who would want to look presentable on TV.
right. Sometimes I wonder if Nate truly cares about appearing presentable.
I think he does. Look at his haircut.
No, he does. I'm just being mean. I shouldn't be mean to people. I'm so sorry. Yeah, explain to me a little bit, because we're obviously a little bit in weird territory here because we lost one of our couples to COVID, and so we're waiting for them to get back into the mix of things. But at this point, are all these individual dinners that they're having here this episode, is that typically just a first night of the honeymoon, all the couples together, group dinner date type situation? Or do they often just do this thing where they have the couples go individually?
Oh, it's usually individually right off the bat.
Okay.
But then, like, later on, you'll see group dinners or group hangouts like we saw at the end of this episode.
Yeah, I just wasn't sure if that was something that had been changed specifically for this season. But yeah, I mean, there's to have this little fancy dinner. And you know what? Sometimes when you get to have a fancy dinner on your honeymoon in a foreign country, you like to get, as all the kids say, gussied up. That's what the kids say. Trust me on that. And so yeah, that maybe takes a little bit of time. Talk to me about this dinner, because we had the whole post-nup thing, and I wasn't entirely satisfied with how all this shook out. So,
well, as we saw, like, I don't remember what episode that was, but the mom was like real concerned about the prenup post-nup thing. So she first starts off by asking about like his bankrupt business, and he like gives some details but not enough, in my opinion, about what happened with the business and why they had to file for bankruptcy. And then he said he moved to San Diego to like reset and get a fresh start, and then like said his credit score went back to normal. How does that happen after bankruptcy?
Yeah, see, that's part of the questions that I had, because it's entirely possible, right, that they could just edit stuff out, like if he was giving more like identifiable information that you don't want
that you can't show
on TV. So it could be artificially light on information there. What they did show wasn't particularly enlightening.
No, I was left with a lot of questions.
He's like, yeah, so I knew a guy and we started a business and I put money in the business, and how do you say, yeah, blood, sweat, and tears, and then it didn't work. It was all very vague, and so hopefully she has a better picture of that than we did. I was also just questioning the whole credit thing, because I don't think that's how that works. Like,
I didn't think so either.
I know, like, you could personally have a fresh start, like in a new place and be in San Diego and whatnot, but it seems weird to me. I'm pretty sure if you go through a bankruptcy, your credit is going to be messed up for a lot more than 6 months.
Yeah, that's I would agree.
Like years, probably.
Yes, I'm yeah, that's very confusing.
So yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if he maybe just wanted to appear more put together and like macho and I'm a boss lady too, and then is hoping to have further conversation about that and like come clean in a moment when the cameras are gone away, like after decision day or something.
Perhaps. I mean, she does call it a yellow flag, so I don't think she was entirely satisfied with his explanation either.
No, I will be following this thread with interest, because interest. Sorry.
She also brings up the post-nup concept to protect her assets. And he seems a little like taken aback by this, but she basically makes it clear that this is a deal breaker if he doesn't want to sign it.
Yes, sign post-nup, you go bye-bye.
And so he says, whatever makes you feel comfortable. So he agrees to sign it. I wonder how much money does she have, like a lot that...
I want to know.
Yeah.
I mean, enough that she wants a post-nup. And I mean, you obviously could do a post-nup for whatever, but I if she really is that insistent about it, I wouldn't be surprised if she's doing pretty well for herself there. I mean, it's not necessarily just a pile of cash, but with all the flipping stuff that she does, she probably maintains some amount of multiple properties of real estate. That, I mean, the market's so hot right now. You don't want to. I mean, look, I'm gonna be totally honest here. This is the only smart play with this. You can't go on Married at First Sight with a bunch of assets, marry a complete stranger, have 8 weeks with them before you decide if you're going to get divorced at that point in time, and even if you don't get divorced at that point in time, probably divorce later. If you have any sort of brain, you gotta be going in there thinking post-nup.
I mean, I can't really argue with that. Like, they don't know each other. She doesn't trust him yet.
And he's like, you don't trust your boy?
Like, no. Especially after that bankruptcy conversation I just heard from you. Like, that's not...
No, that would be completely awful. Like, to go on the show with a bunch of assets, and then the person they match you with is totally financially incompetent and has a bunch of... Because that's the other thing we don't see him address, is the fact that before he mentioned that there were debts associated with it. Didn't talk about debts at all here. So, are there still debts? Did he get rid of all of them through the bankruptcy? I mean,
he might have.
You can clear a lot of things through bankruptcy.
It sounds like he lost enough money on this business venture, though.
Yeah, well, he's one of those day trader people. He loves the risk.
So at this point, the conversation morphs into talking about children.
Morphs, I would say, takes a hard right turn.
He seemed a little nervous about this question, judging by the massive gulp of alcohol that he swallowed when she asked that question.
Yes, quite a large.
And he wants kids in like 2 to 3 years, and she wants it in a year.
Slight mismatch.
I don't understand the people who did Married at First Sight who are like, I want a kid next year.
I don't either. But there is, I'm sure, some like biological clock thought with that.
Yeah, considering she's 37. But still, it's not like the guy you were matched with has 0 red flags. So
Chris is like, at this point, maybe you should just kind of do your own thing and like get a sperm donor and like grow a test tube baby, and then like in a couple of years, if he's still around, then you can have a regular baby with him. Now I agree with you. Like I get the whole, oh well, I'm 37. I'm into the geriatric, I believe as they call it, the geriatric pregnancies.
Yeah.
Which is so sad. That term
is very sad. It kicks in at like age 36 or something like that. It's not that old.
Right. But, ovaries age on a scale that's like, it's more like dog years instead of human years. No, that's horrible to say, and I'm so sorry, but It is potentially more issue filled in terms of pregnancy if you wait super long. So I get that, but yeah, I cannot say that if I were in a relationship with this man, I would be like, we're having kids within a year, because that's
No. Especially when he's like, well, as long as it's with the right person. And she's like, we're already married, you idiot.
She's like, I better be the right person. She's like, yes, I made the right choice with the post-up. Oh, man. What did you think about her family situation later? I know she talked briefly about not knowing who her bio dad is, and like being super ready to get rid of her name, even if it means taking upon herself the last name of an idiot.
I mean, I could understand where she was coming from with not wanting that last name anymore. So I didn't have any issue with that conversation at all.
Oh, I didn't have an issue with that. I just wanted your thoughts as co-host of this wonderful show.
I mean, I didn't have too many more thoughts on it. It kind of led into this awkward moment with Alexis.
Oh man, what was that about?
I don't know. I guess because Alexis started mentioning that she did know her dad, and then it triggered Stacia, which, like, is understandable considering she didn't know her bio dad.
Right, which is all the more weird because Alexis was trying to say she knew her dad, but she never felt any connection with him. It was all kind of a weird trainer. Look, this is what happens when you get all the couples together. Is weird stuff goes down.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, she was pretty broken up about it. I do get the reasoning. I wonder a little bit why it didn't maybe happen earlier in her life. Like, especially like if she's someone who is so, like, she seems like she's a go-getter. Like, she's building this real estate empire and all the stuff that she's doing. That seems like a pretty great opportunity to me to change your name. Like, at that point, if you're gonna be creating this,
I feel like it's kind of a pain to change your name to start with.
Oh, yes, it absolutely
I'm guessing
is.
she's like, well, now's a good time as any to do it since I'm getting married.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. It's just, why him?
Like, she didn't have a choice. That's
No.
who the experts matched her with.
Oh, the freaking experts, man.
Should probably move to Lindy and Miguel.
Oh yeah, we can do that. Before we do though, I wanted to ask you. So, who actually are the experts? All I know of are the Sergeant Pepper lady or Dr. Pepper.
Dr. Pepper, yes. And
Okay.
there's Pastor
And the
Cowell, the
pastor.
black guy, and we've had Dr. Viviana for quite a few seasons now, but
Didn't
she
get
just
fired last season?
she left. I don't know what the deal is there, but
So she got fired.
yes, I guess. I liked her though, so I'm kind of sad she's gone. But then we're gonna have 2 more people coming, which we have not seen footage from, I don't think. So I'm not sure who I know one of the people is a guy who actually just got divorced, which is kind of funny considering he's giving advice on a marriage show. But
Well, I guess I will keep an eye on that.
yeah, but so far we've only seen the experts as like Lindy and Miguel
just-
were matched because like that
and
seems
it's just the two.
yeah. Normally
So
it's 3.
And really, it's pretty much just been Pastor Cal. He's been doing everything for the most part. And yes, narrating in the sing song.
We believe
We believe that Lindy and Miguel are a great match because he snores. Let's talk about them.
Yeah, apparently he does snore.
Yes, that became a point of some teasing there. I've become less and less optimistic about this couple the more and more I see of them.
Yeah, me too, which is sad because I thought they had the best chance out of everyone, but they have some differences that keep popping up.
Yeah, my observation or perspective is that she is too, like, she for in terms of their relationships, she still has too many attachments and ties to her Seventh-day Adventist past, and he seems to have a flavor of, like, I don't even what you would call it, like, because he's kind of an atheist, but, like, I don't know if he's described himself as that, but, like, it's kind of a weird flavor of that, where he seemed to be perhaps particularly, like, just, oh, nothing matters, or, like, all of that. And so I think it's a tough thing for them to find common ground, because she wants to kind of move past that religious upbringing to a certain extent, but she still has a lot of, like, brain ties to it, emotional ties and stuff, and he just thinks it's total hogwash, and so there's a lot of tension there, I think.
Well, I guess I mistakenly thought she was further removed from the religious upbringing than she actually is, and so it keeps popping back up in different spots. Like, she talked about losing her virginity to, I guess, some college boyfriend, maybe.
Fiance?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because it was Ring by Spring.
Yeah, so I got the impression that's the only guy she's been with like that, maybe.
Correct. That seems to be, I think that's what she has said.
Yeah, and so she brings up thinking that love is a choice, and he thinks it's based on a feeling, which that's a pretty
big difference.
Yes. That's going to be hard to reconcile.
Yeah, it definitely, I would agree with you that she's not as far removed as, maybe even as far as she thought she was. Because I think that can happen too, is if, I don't know, I feel like a lot of people just live their lives pretty non-confrontationally. So, like, if you know somebody who's an atheist, or you know somebody who's a Seventh-day Adventist, or you know somebody who's a Mormon, or whatever it is, like, most people they just want to live their lives. They want to get paid for doing something that's not terribly odious and awful. They want to eat food, and they want to go to the bathroom on a toilet that isn't terrible. Like, most people don't want all that much. And so I feel like most of the time you kind of go through life not so directly challenged on these things, whatever it is you believe. And so I think she's finding that she cares more than she perhaps thought she did, because he's picking at these things. Like, even on I guess it was technically the fourth day of their marriage. Oh, they've made it so far. They were having fun and joking and all of this, and because they've been working up to consummating their marriage. It's just a really weird way to put it, in my opinion. But he starts joking about sex, and in particular, he's like, "Well, is God gonna be watching us?" and stuff like that. And she, like, visibly got a bit uncomfortable and asked him to, like, not be sacrilegious.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting too. Like, okay, this is still, like, a part of you, even if you, like, don't want it to be.
Right, which, I mean, it isn't surprising given how deeply attached to it. Her family seems to be.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't think that, or I guess I'll say, it doesn't make things easier being matched with Miguel, because he is somebody that wants to like pick at it, and because he like, I don't think that he has any malice about it. He just truly believes it's all hooey, and so why wouldn't he make jokes like that, or why wouldn't he like? One major thing I noticed, it seems like, from what he said this episode and previous episodes, he's either ended his relationships because he's gotten cheated on, or after like 3 months things hadn't happened. Like I think he said it like he likes to break things off after like 3 months if the feelings aren't building. I believe that's how he termed that. And it's just a really different way of viewing things. So, oh boy, he needs that potential for a spark, you know.
Well, he did say that there's other ways his needs are being met.
Oh boy. ...
I
don't want to think about that.
I'm sure we can all picture that in our heads now.
That's also it's kind of like mainstream religious person thing to be like, ooh, sex is super important and sacred and all of this, but like, I'll do sexual things for you as long as we don't, quote unquote, consummate it. It's like,
loophole.
Pretty sure you consummated it. Pretty sure. You just you're defining it very narrowly so you don't hurt your own feelings. But that's none of my business.
He also gives her a massage.
Which, this is the tough position they're in, because she has very specific views and she wants it to be like this special thing and natural and like built up to it, and he just really wants it. And so like there's a lot of tension in that, I think, because anything he does will, and probably rightly, be viewed as, oh, he's just trying to get in her pants, which is the first thought I had when he's like, can I give you a massage?
Oh, I thought that too.
Exactly. And I'm sure she did as well.
Well, I guess we will see how long it takes her.
Oh, man. Goodness gracious. We were so optimistic about these two.
I know, what a shame.
Yeah.
Everybody's crashing and burning.
Right, and I also... This kind of blindsided me a little bit, because they were talking about their parents, and so I guess Miguel's mom ended up abandoning his family. Like, she has schizophrenia, and so like there's all sorts of stuff associated with that. Like, he moved back to Puerto Rico for a little bit and whatnot. But the thing that struck me was, so Lindy's parents are actually divorced.
Yeah. Said in eighth grade, her dad served her mom divorce papers.
Which, because am I crazy? I thought that her father was a pastor. Did I completely make that up?
I don't remember that. I'm not sure. I just know we only saw the mom at the wedding, which I guess explains why.
I just didn't realize it was because of that. I thought that her father was taking a harder stance on it based on how she said her family reacted.
Well,
which
that
is
could
probably
be
true,
too.
But also subtext, can't be near your mom.
I guess not.
Causes too much causes too much trouble. Yeah, that's... I caught that. I was like, wait, what? But they're like super religious. They probably don't even believe in divorce.
Plenty of Christians get divorced.
Fake news.
But we won't get into that discussion here.
No, this is purely about Married at First Sight, episode 5, with a few jumps into other episodes because we feel a little feisty.
So that was all I had on them.
Yeah, I just want to talk about the giant tornado of destruction that is Alexis and Justin.
I don't know, they're kind of funny this episode. Just lots of awkwardness and cringiness. So first they go horseback riding, which I just want to point out that, like, if you watch Bachelor in Paradise, you would think that there's no activities available.
Oh, there are tons of activities.
They need to take note. Look at all the things the couples are getting to do this episode in the exact same city.
Oh, right. I mean,
Paradise is filmed in.
Look, any time you go to one of those all-inclusive resort type things and they say all-inclusive, like a lot of the things are inclusive. But you go to one of those places, there are so many things you can do. I mean, you can go on local tours of, like, various ruins and archaeological sites. You can, like, go ziplining in the jungle. You can ride horses. You can go snorkeling. You can go scuba diving. Like, there's a whole laundry list of things. But ABC's like, no, you must be in shacks and no activities.
At least nothing interesting.
No, it's just so funny to me because, yeah, there are a lot of people, obviously, and it's a revolving door of a revolving cast. But still, you do have those actual, like, people get the one-on-one dates and stuff. Like,
yeah, but they do stuff like roll around in churro sugar.
It's like you couldn't just, like, have them have, like, an Incan ruin day where they get to climb the temple together. Like, no, because those are like $125 a person.
I guess Lifetime put out a little more money, but
which
yes,
we appreciate. Okay, it makes for a more interesting show. Perhaps. Yeah. So they got their horsey beach time.
Yeah, I didn't have much of note there, but at dinner,
oh man, they are headed towards a train wreck, in my opinion.
It's such a weird train wreck, though. Like, it's so...
It doesn't keep it from being a train wreck.
Because, like, Justin is, like, very, like, effusive and, like, talking about how much he likes her.
He puts it all on the table.
And she can't handle it. She, like, gets nervous, and he actually, like, talked about how he wants kids with her, and he already loves her. And she just laughs in his face, like this high-pitched, nervous...
It was like...
maniacal laugh.
It was like wild animal level laugh. Like, just like pure... It was just nature. Just... It was so loud and so long.
Yes. It made for a very awkward moment. At least that's the way they cut it in the episode. And she's not ready or willing to say it yet. Which, in her defense, this is only day 4.
I mean, time flies when you're having fun.
He needs to chill a little bit.
Right, and I just think the problem with them is that I don't think either of them has any chill. That's like a big problem. And because and I don't agree with him precisely, but he keeps saying that Alexis is the woman version of him.
I don't think that's true.
Right, exactly. It's not true, but what I'll say about it what I think it is true is I think there's a very similar inability to take things seriously with both of them, because this is kind of like, obviously you have your fun times and this is the honeymoon, and so you're like, it's fun activity time before you really get to the grind of marriage.
Pun intended.
Oh gosh. But even so, there is a certain amount of gravity to this situation, and it feels like they both don't keep it. They both don't take it seriously. Alexis's reaction is more often to just like, her energy comes out as like that, like laughing at him just outrageously because of saying that he loved her, or just like the constant like just laughing out loud, like this wasn't that funny, that like the thing that happened, you're just like losing your mind. And similarly with him, it's not quite so much like comes out as the laughing, it's more like it comes out as that stuff of like, oh man, oh, I just love you so much, and like you make my appendage so hard in the morning, and I love you so much, and when I saw you at the altar, I was like, this is the woman, she's my wife, I'm gonna have kids with her. Like,
it's just too much. He said he fell in love at the altar.
Right,
like,
and so that's what I'm saying, it's almost taking it too seriously, but like because of that, it's really like it's not taking it seriously. Like, it's not neither is an appropriate response, and so they keep just like smashing into each other and escalating things, and it doesn't seem healthy to me.
No, and I loved when he asked her, "Does that scare you?" And she says it doesn't, but she has this scared look on her face as she says that. It's like, it's a lot. He's like flooding her with everything.
Yeah, I think it was a bit hard for him to hear what she had to say.
Yes, he did look a little crestfallen.
Especially, he just keeps saying that she's the perfect person for him.
He also in his heart knows that she loves him.
Yeah, because she did ask, she's like, do you think that I love you? He's like, yeah, for sure.
They're just such a strange couple.
I know.
I don't know what to make of them together or even separately. Like,
I will say, I think that if he wasn't so ridiculous, she probably wouldn't be quite so ridiculous either. I think they spiral off of each other, and I think that he's probably the main culprit.
Yeah, I think she is reactive.
Right, and so if she was with, and I'm sorry, Justin, but if she was with a normal person, I don't think that we would be I don't think we would be here having this conversation. Because I do think that she is very reactive, and a lot of this has been like, it's just so much happening. Baseline, Married at First Sight is a lot to have happen, and then on top of that, it's like, and the man you married is Justin.
Who you rejected on Instagram and Hinge.
Yes, which is so. I didn't see that after party, but it seemed like he was maybe a bit annoying in that whole scenario.
Well, yes, I think she did find him annoying. I couldn't imagine being matched with someone after, like, basically saying no thanks on two different platforms.
Here's another spoiler for you. She still thinks he's annoying. That's my hot take for this episode.
I think you might be right, unfortunately.
Which, if they don't find some sort of equilibrium fast, they're not going to make it past decision day.
No.
Oh, that's real tough. Aren't you still glad, though, that he's still celibate?
Why does she keep saying it like that?
I don't know. I also don't... See, that's the other... Yeah, it just ties into that. Like, she's now... And she has been continuing to be like, oh, he's celibate. Well, now we're celibate. It's just... Why?
Both of them doing too much.
Exactly.
Constantly.
There's so much...
And Justin saying it's been perfect, the marriage. How can you say that when she just said she can't say I love you?
And that they're celibate. Guys.
He has to put on a brave face, I guess.
Guys, I don't know how to tell you this, but that doesn't sound like a perfect marriage to me. One person doesn't love the other person, and they cannot have any sort of physical intimacy. Well, I won't say that. They have kissed, as far as we know, but... Oh, that's just... It's funny to me that Lindy was the one to say, yeah, I burn a lot of calories here, pointing to her brain, when, like, it seems like there are, like, a couple hamsters on wheels in this couple. Like there's just a lot of, like, mental energy that results in no useful output whatsoever. Like, it seems like there's so much overthinking from probably both of them. Like, he's like, I gotta put on this face of, like, yes, you're perfect, I love you so much, like, I loved you at first sight, like, we're gonna make this work. And she's like, oh boy, that's really freaking weird. And so, like, they both go in circles in their own heads, and then they come together, and then it's just circles upon circles here. It's circles all the way down.
Yeah, they both need to chill.
Please.
I was just gonna go to Krysten and Mitch.
Oh, okay. Well, before you do, Nate thought that perhaps Justin got a little too excited, telling Alexis that he loved her already.
Well, he's not wrong.
No, he's not. Sadly. Oh, what a disaster. But yeah, let's talk about our favorite couple. Krysten and Mitch. Mitch and Krysten.
Well, their activity is paddleboarding, and so Mitch loves this, obviously.
Mm-hmm. As I said to myself when I was watching this, wow, Mitch. Classic Mitch.
Although he does say later that the boards they had were not ideal, so you always got to throw in...
Well, so he really loves to bookend things. 'Cause first of all, like, this was very classic Mitch emphasis on himself. I don't know if he chose this date. There's some indicators that perhaps the guys got to choose what they did, perhaps. So if we are to believe that, he chose paddleboarding because he loves paddleboarding. And he proceeded to, like, it didn't look like he was treating her very well. Like, it seemed like he, like, almost ran her down a couple times.
I did notice that too. It looked like he bumped into her, which made her fall over.
I know.
Not a very considerate Mitch.
Right. So of course, is the classic Mitch bookend. So you had that where he made it all about himself, and then still complained about it later. Because what did he say? Like, the boards weren't ideal. They didn't do it for very long. They didn't go out very far. Like,
so he's perpetually unsatisfied.
But it was a really fun. It was a fun date. But there were an infinite list of things wrong.
He also got to see her in a bikini for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but whatever.
And then this exchange I found very cringy. I guess after they finished paddleboarding or later on, she talks about how they have the same sense of humor. And eventually this leads to a comment from Mitch saying, even sex is funny.
He's like, what? And then he had to try to explain what he meant, which I didn't personally understand. But
no, I didn't get it either.
No. I do want to say, I think at this point in time, I think that Krysten is my favorite person, like individual person.
Oh yeah, she's great, especially considering who she's matched with.
Right, I just think that she has a pretty great head on her shoulders. Like, she's somebody who is taking the process seriously and wants to make it work, but she's not being ridiculous about it like someone like Justin is. I don't know about you, but I haven't really seen any like major red flags.
No, she's got a really good attitude. She's also not
a good attitude.
She's also not a doormat. She knows her worth.
Right. I mean, like I said, favorite person so far. Not favorite couple. Favorite person. I still think that they're doomed. But
not through no fault of hers.
I hope she finds happiness.
I know, right? And this was so sad where she said, a pinky promise is our version of a kiss.
I almost cried when I heard that.
So depressing. And then we had this conversation where he talks with his brother, which this seems unusual for this show to just show them talking to family members on the honeymoon, but I guess
even though they don't show it, does that still happen pretty regularly? Because we didn't see the conversation happen, but we did hear that Stasia's mother called her and was telling her about the bankruptcy thing.
I don't really remember seeing this in previous seasons.
Yeah, we got a whole shot of Mitch there with the hole in his head walking around.
More like 3 holes, actually. There were some other scrapes there I didn't notice before.
Look, when you hit your head on a rock, it tends to have multiple areas.
Yeah, but he admits that he's not feeling that physical spark, even though he just commented that he liked seeing her in a bikini.
Well, look, okay, just because she's attractive and looks good in a bikini and makes him feel things and makes him horny and all of that doesn't mean he's attracted to her, okay?
Okay, make that make sense.
Well, he just, again, what is with just the what is with these people just spending all of their time in their heads?
It's not like she's an unattractive person.
No, one could argue that she's an attractive person.
Yes, I don't understand. I was just very baffled by this, the whole episode with him.
He's like the anti-Krysten. Because he's determined to have a bad time.
Yeah.
He's determined to not make it work. I'm being reductionist and I'm charitable and all these things, but that's like the vibe you get, because it's like you have this perfectly great person or someone who appears to be a perfectly great person, right in front of you, somebody who, I should mention, like, seems to actually, like, she wants to have sex with him. She wants to have a marriage. She wants this to work out. And you're just like, I really couldn't say that I'm attracted to her.
It's like he's trying not to be.
Right.
It doesn't make sense.
Right, and that's what I'm saying. Because again, he keeps qualifying everything, and even like I'm gonna spoil it here, but they do go on to sort of make out a bit later after this whole conversation, which again, like, I felt so bad for Krysten. This episode,
terrible.
Like the amount of emotional whiplash that she sustained, like, she should be suing him for whiplash because it was just absolutely ridiculous. So they did, like, apparently have some intimacy there, like, didn't progress very far. But then he's talking about it the entire time of, like, oh yeah, I'm a man, I have hormones, I have needs. It's like, why are you so determined to not like her?
I don't know. I mean, at the dinner he says it's not there for me right now in the physical department.
Right, because the takeaway from the phone call with his brother was that he needed to talk to her about these struggles that he was having finding her attractive.
And I mean, you can tell she's disappointed. She also says she's not going to convince him that she is a catch, which is like right on there. And he's like, well, I'm going to take it day by day. And she also notices that if she prods him to ask, like, why he's not feeling attracted, it would probably hurt her feelings, which I thought that was pretty smart, too.
Right. I mean, I think her feelings were already hurt. And so it would just be...
No need to pick apart what about her he doesn't like.
He's just... Mitch. Please, what are you doing? I mean, he's commented positively... I mean, in his Mitch way, commented positively about her.
I wonder what his exes look like. Like, what was he... What does he want?
I think he doesn't know what he wants. I think that he is a 41-year-old man who is terrified of commitment.
I mean, this is as good as it's going to get for him.
Right, honestly, he should be thanking his lucky stars that they matched him with such a great person instead of some other rando. Like,
it's so sad for her. She said she's thankful they have fun at least, even if he's not attracted to her.
Yeah, that's just weird. My assessment is that overall, the guys are a lot weaker than the women this season. Like, they suck a lot more in general.
Oh, I feel like that's usually how it goes on the show.
Really?
Yeah.
They have a hard time getting quality men.
I can think of a lot of duds.
Ooh.
Men from previous seasons.
Come on, Married at First Sight. Get your crap together. You have all these wonderful women. Find them wonderful men. How hard could it be?
She also does say later on that if by decision day there has been no sex or an I love you, she will ask for a divorce.
Yes. It's ultimatum time.
Mm-hmm.
Which, I'm not a fan of ultimatums, but in this situation, I think it's appropriate.
Yes, agreed. Especially with Mitch. He needs to know the stakes.
Yeah, he's just so tightly wound and in his head that I think you gotta kind of smack him around a little bit and be like, bro, come back to real life.
Yep.
What's going on here? I I thought it was pretty funny at the end of this conversation that I'm sure was super painful for Krysten. Like, talking about continuing on, she's just like, grabs some champagne and she's like, F it.
Like, might as well.
I feel bad for her. I really do.
Yeah, she got settled.
I mean, it's like she needs words of affirmation, and he is so far incapable of that. Which shows perhaps a bit of lack of empathy, but oh well.
Well, the last couple is Morgan and Ben. And there wasn't a ton, I guess, from them. They kind of breezed through the wedding pictures.
That was the quickest wedding reception.
I don't even think we saw the first dance. There was a short conversation with his mom asking her how many kids she wants, and she's like, well, there's a lot of things I want to do before I have kids. And
I also think maybe he's a little bit scared of her.
Yes,
given the Muay Thai story.
Yeah, and she broke her friend's tooth playing or doing that. So,
I mean, martial arts things happen.
I know, but a permanent loss of a tooth.
Christy takes the firm position that it's not worth it.
I'd be upset if I were that friend, but
yeah, stuff happens. I do think that. Man, there are so many points of tension on this season. I think that that's going to be a potential big one for them because Ben seems like he wants to be pretty traditional. Like, he's a super mama's boy. And his mother is super traditional. And so it's like, I think that bleeds off on him, at least from a family perspective, to, okay, wow, I didn't think this was going to happen, but I actually have a wife now. Okay, we need to have kids because my mom needs some grandkids because she's bored and it was expected of us, and that's not, obviously, it's not how Morgan operates. So,
yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they navigate that.
Yeah, I didn't think that their wedding cake looked super terrible.
Probably the best out of all 5 weddings.
It looked vaguely normal.
Yeah. We also saw a whole bowl of condoms in their hotel room.
Yes. Yeah, he was, I think he was pretty disappointed, because it was also his birthday.
Mm-hmm, the next day, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, really, the night they got, apparently, I don't know if he was actually born at midnight, or if he's the sort of person who's like, hey, it's midnight, it's my birthday, and runs around telling people to celebrate them. I don't know. But he was hoping for a little something birthday present.
I don't think that happened for him.
No.
But she did bring him cookies and cream.
Cupcakes the next morning?
Yeah, with some candles, so hopefully that sufficed.
Yeah. Yeah, he's very adamant that she wants him sexually.
I mean, maybe he's seeing stuff we're not, but
I mean, it's always a possibility. Very typical horny guy.
Yeah.
But still somehow not as horny as Justin.
Justin takes the cake.
Oh man, it's almost like Justin and Alexis are like cartoons. They're cartoon people. That is how ridiculous it is a lot of the time. Just
they're painful to watch.
Yes, that is the case sometimes. Ridiculous. Hopefully, look, I know I'm a deeply cynical person, and deep inside myself, I don't think that any of these people are gonna have a happy ending. But I hope they figure their crap out. I hope they find a way, except for Krysten and Mitch. I hope that they break up so that she can find somebody good.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's terribly mean. But that's all I have. What a fun episode. I mean, it wasn't quite as meaty as I want. I'm really excited for the nuts and bolts of marriage here. I mean, come on.
That's coming once they move back to
I know.
San Diego.
But it was a nice change of pace overall. I like that we're getting into some of the more just more interesting parts of the season to me. You know, you can only see so many weddings and be like, oh, cool, a wedding. You know, you can only sit there so many times and watch coached family members and friends be like, so, you gonna do it tonight?
Ugh, I'm so tired of that question.
I mean, come on, you gotta have it. Even in the delayed Morgan and Ben wedding, you gotta have it.
Yep, we got it.
You gotta have it. Well, Christy, how can people get in touch with us?
You can email us at groupdatespod@gmail.com or follow us on Twitter and Instagram at groupdatespodcast.
Oh, yeah. We appreciate all of our listeners. We couldn't do it without you.